Hi everyone, this is Tammy, owner of Worthyworthitpriceless, and today's podcast is titled Learn Who You Are and Embrace It. I know some of you may be on the same journey that I am on right now, whereas you're either discovering yourself or rediscovering yourself, and in some certain things is somewhat hard for you. As I've stated before, I've had recently, I don't even know how, it's not really that recent, but I had a relationship end at least 3 years ago, but that relationship was on and off since I was 19. And so basically I moved out of the house with my mom when I was 19. I had my own place in August, and by September I was in a relationship. And I would discourage my daughter from doing that same thing because I didn't get a chance to really know who I was as a person. And for a lot of my life, I've been around critical people. So I suppressed who I was. My actual personality was often inside of my own room. So when you would possibly see me out, or even especially around these critical people, I was, and I don't mean like critical, like people who criticize, put it that way. I was probably more reserved. I never really talked. And I realize now, like, if you follow me or listen to any of my previous podcasts, I talked about how I would be around people and people never heard me talk. And now as I'm rediscovering myself or discovering myself, I'm realizing that's the reason why. It wasn't that I didn't really have anything to say. I am, somewhat of an introvert, but as I'm discovering more and more about myself, it is because I had to suppress who I was, because every time I said something or I did something, especially even as a kid, I had people who criticized me. And so it was better for me to either be by myself so I didn't have to hear that criticism. So basically that's where that come from. But I suppressed who I was. Like, my personality was inside of my room. Like I possibly said before, I had my own cooking show, or, I was on my own talk show in my room type of thing. But if you saw me out, it was like, my nickname as a child was Bubble. And so it was like, well, Bubble don't never talk. Bubble don't never do this. But inside of my room, I was a totally different person. And I think that, I'm not saying I think, I realized that it followed me even as an adult. And it's not even until now that I'm starting to bring that person that was inside of my room. I am starting, by the grace of God, to bring her to the forefront. And it is not a scary thing, like, I am ready to be who God created me to be type of thing. And I'm not going to tell you that it's not a constant fight, because it is. Because you're fighting your former self with the person that you really are. Like, I was always this person, but this person never came out. So it's like one of those things. It's like, and it's funny because what is happening as well is that I have to realize I no longer have those critical people around me, or people who criticize me. It's just basically me, my daughter, and whoever I work with. And that's the craziest thing, because sometimes those voices are still in your head. It's like, as soon as you want to do something, you might hear, oh, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? And that's what I used to hear every time I try to do something. Where you about to go? What you about to do? You know what I mean? Type of thing. And it's you have to really embrace who you really are and learn basically learn who you are and embrace it and just live who you really are. Live your true self. Not what I want you to do as well is, if you have also been around people who criticize almost everything that you did, don't be one of those criticizing people yourself. Take that out of the equation. Don't criticize yourself. Do not put yourself down. I know that it is a very hard thing to do because you're used to it. You're used to somebody always saying something. You're used to somebody always having an opinion about what you do. But realize that they are no longer around you, if they're not. But realize that they are no longer around you, and that they can't hurt you. Their words mean nothing. And some of you, and probably even myself, might have to go to counseling and kind of deal with all of that. But while you're along this journey, no longer suppress who you really are. You are a great person. You have a great personality. No matter what anyone has said to you in the past, realize that that is not who you truly are. Start to learn every aspect about yourself. Research things about yourself. Realize why you did certain things. Realize why you made certain decisions. And if those are decisions that you no longer want to make anymore, no longer make them. And don't hold yourself, don't basically be so critical or beating yourself down for your past decisions. You made those decisions because of where you were at that time in life. Forgive yourself for those things that you're not happy with. But also make a conscious effort to move on. Because a lot of times when we're discovering ourselves and everything like that, we're super critical of ourselves. And we might beat ourselves down. And we start thinking negatively about ourselves and all of that. And that's not something I want you to do. You made those decisions because of where you were at that time. Yes, you have better knowledge now. But if you had better knowledge, then you probably would have made a different decision. Or if your life was in a different place, you would have made a different decision. But forgive yourself for those things and move on. But we have to live a life as well where we no longer suppress who we are. Embrace who you are. Embrace your goofiness, your silliness. You're not going to always be perfect. And the people who criticize you are nowhere near perfect. A lot of times people criticize you because they don't want you to be higher than them. A lot of people want to bring you down to their level. So at the end of the day, you're not showing them up type of thing. They want you to oh no, you gotta calm it down a little bit. Because they're not ready to get to your level. So you gotta calm it down. And so they start trying to make you feel as though there's something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. We all have our little, issues, whatever. But there is nothing wrong with you. Do not let anyone dim your light. Not even yourself. You're an awesome person. You have a great heart. You're a great person. But don't let what other people have said to you in the past follow you into your future. It's time to let go of all that weight. Strip it off. Take it off. And if you still have critical people around you, let them know. Listen, I understand your opinion, whatever, but keep that to yourself. Don't allow their criticisms to suppress you any longer. Don't be the person that you really want to be behind closed doors. Bring your whole self out. God didn't create you to suppress who you really are. You have different parts of your personality for a reason. God did not create you one-dimensional. You are awesome. God created you special. Start to realize that about yourself. You're special. And you have value. You have worth. And God has a plan for your life. He's not over. Your life isn't over. He's not through with you. I know this year has been a trying year. But for some of us, we needed the break of the quarantine and everything. God knows exactly what he's doing, whether we know it or not. So as always, just know that you are worthy, worth it, and priceless. God has a plan for your life. I love you guys. Thank you so much for your support, and thank you for listening to this podcast. And until next time, bye.